Hi everybody, I'm Rosie, and welcome to my very first YouTube video. I'm in the hospital right now. I just came out of a second surgery for my proctocolectomy / J pouch. I came out with the second surgery, what they call the takedown, 2 days ago. And I decided to start this YouTube channel because I want to help anybody that has ulcerative colitis or IBD, inflammatory bowel disease. I want to help anybody just with things that I've gone through if they're curious, because it's always good to relate with somebody else, and so many other people have helped me watching their videos or connecting with people on Instagram. So I just want to be able to reach out and help people too, and especially if they're going to be getting this surgery or facing the possibility of this surgery in the future. I want to kind of just share my experiences so they might know what possibilities there are for them to go through, even though everybody's recovery is a little bit different. We all go through similar things. So before I kind of go over what's going on right now, I'll give you a little background. My name is Rosie, and I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, IBD, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. I was diagnosed with that in 2012. Now, IBD consists of ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, and they are autoimmune diseases. And autoimmune diseases is where your immune system is extremely high, and it decides to attack an organ, or a specific organ, or something specific in your body. And specifically with ulcerative colitis, it attacks your large intestine, the colon. And so it's really hard because you're fatigued all the time, and it creates these horrible sores and ulcers on your colon. So you bleed, you're malnourished, you lose your hair, your joints ache. It's just awful. You're tired all the time, and a lot of the times you lose so much blood that you have blood transfusions, and you're malnourished a lot, to the point where you're usually really skinny, and we all have our own diets, to try and deal with it, because things will just flare it up or hurt, etc. And I can go into detail in another video if anyone's curious. So I've managed it pretty well naturally. Had a bad flare back in 2014, recovered from it naturally. But then starting in January 2015, I had another flare, and I battled basically in and out of remission until December of 2015. So basically an entire year, I battled, and I even decided, my natural remedies, which I personally felt like were working better than medications they originally put me on in the beginning, felt like they weren't doing it. And so I even opted to listen to my gastroenterologist, and I started different medications, but the medications all made me really sick. Even got to the point where prednisone, a steroid, wasn't working for me. So I was getting really tired, and I was afraid I was going to lose my job, because even the days that I could be at work, I couldn't. I was worn down. I was driving myself in the ground. And so I requested to meet with a surgeon. I heard about this surgery, and I thought this could give me a possibility of life and being able to, do things. So I met with the surgeon. My surgeon's great. I met with him in August. He's fantastic. He listened to me. He treated me like a normal person. He thought I was a perfect candidate for it. He was great. He understood, the reasons why. There were other medications that I could have tried that were what they call biologics, where you do injections, or you sit. There's Entyvio, where you sit and get infusions, and I didn't want to do those. And I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody that wants to choose those, but for me, I did not want to do those. Those weren't an option for me. It just wasn't right. So I we decided that I was going to try again and try other, regular medications other than the ones I was talking about. If I could get in remission, that's great. If not, then I'll come back and talk to him. Again, I tried other medications and they just made me really sick. And I just was continuously getting worn down. So I met back with him in October and we decided to set up a surgery date for December 17th, 2015. And, I was shaking in my boots because we talked about every detail. You can never get your large intestine back. A proctocolectomy is where they take out your entire large intestine and your rectum. So you'll have to have a ostomy bag for a while on your stomach. If anyone doesn't know what that is, that's just basically where you poop in a bag. And that would be temporary because they create something called a J pouch out of your small intestine, the bottom of your small intestine. And they create a holder like what your rectum would have been. And they, and they connect it to your bottom so that you would be able to go to the bathroom like a normal person. But there comes complications with it because your colon, large intestine, its main function was to absorb the water, the enzymes, and everything. So it's going to be a whole different way of life and managing it. Like it's still something you're going to have to manage. So we, came up with a date and said, well, I'm going to still try and get in remission. If I do, even if it's a day before that date, then he'll back off. We won't do the surgery. And that's what I was really hoping for. And I was really believing that I was going to make it because I've been able to get myself in remission. But I think I've just had so much damage that there was no going back. Like there's irreversible damage when you have flares on your organs. So I, was pushing until the very last week. Got the point where I couldn't do anything. I couldn't wash the dishes. I had to stop just to breathe. I couldn't do my cat's litter. I wasn't functioning. I was having fevers every single night. Losing blood, losing hair. I just couldn't do it. So I met him week before. He did an exam. And that's it. I was going to have to do it. So we did my proctocolectomy with a J pouch. There's a 2-step surgery. That's the first step. He takes out my large intestine, creates the J pouch out of my small intestine, and puts the bag on. And I have to wait 2 months for that J pouch to heal until I can get the reversal where they take the bag off. And I just had the reversal. So that first surgery was really hard. It took me 8 weeks to get some stamina back. I was exhausted. I was winded, and I got really depressed because I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk around the block, around my house. And I had to keep reminding myself every day that this is only temporary. I'll be able to get my stamina back. But it was really, really hard. So if anyone's going through this, I luckily had a friend that went through this about a year ago, so I was constantly emailing him, and bless his heart, he's been really helpful. Tends to always shoot me an email saying how I'm doing anytime I feel like I'm going to lose it, so I'm really thankful for that friendship. I've learned a lot. But yeah, so that's what's to be expected, and what he said, he went through that too. And also there's something called jpouch.org, so you can reach out and have conversations with other people all over that have gone through that. But it just took me 8 weeks to get some stamina. 8 weeks. And so finally I got 2 weeks before the surgery, starting feeling a little bit more myself. I'm not 100%, but I could go do things. So now I had this surgery, and right before the surgery, my surgeon did tell me that this one was going to be more painful. The first one wasn't because it was all laparoscopic. It was just more painful where my stoma was, my small intestine was, that stuck out of my my body, because they have to keep that small intestine there to stay out of your body, they have to push it through your stomach muscle. So that was really painful. And it was hard to get in a comfortable position to sleep. You had to figure it out. And my whole stay at the hospital, I was nauseous the whole time. It was really hard. And all I would end up doing I would have to pray every night I was at the hospital, because it was really difficult. So it's really good to have support and family, and I think being open about it, even though that might be hard for some people, I think it's important to be open about it. I've been so open about it, and I've gotten so much support and love, and that's really helped me. So now here I am. 2 days ago, I got the takedown surgery. My surgeon was right. This one hurt more, but mine hurts way more because I had a lot of scar tissue issues. The surgery was only supposed to take an hour, but where they took out my colon, I guess I had a lot of scar tissue. So then he had to go back in laparoscopically, and he had to eat away or cut up all that scar tissue so he could make a pathway for my small intestines, where the loop ileostomy was, to be sewn back together. So I'm on a lot of drugs right now. And I'm really swollen, and it's gotten a little bit better, but I have my stamina, praise God. I'm chipper and got that, but the pain is just so unbelievably bad, and I'm so swollen. It hurts. So this is what, be prepared. This is what the scar looks like where my stoma was, where they took it down. So that's that. I get to get those staples out 10 days later, and this red ring around that's where the ostomy sticker was. My bag that was here, you have to use a sticker to put that on. And so my skin was really raw. It feels scabbed just touching it. So that's where that was. And if you can see, I'll kind of put it like this. You can just tell that this side is way more swollen than this side, like it's a lump. And I think even when my stomach, the swelling goes down and I'm more normal, I'm always going to stick out a little bit more here, but, I'm fine with that. So that's that. This is where they took my colon out in the first surgery. I'm not normally this swollen at all. I was swollen, you tend to be swollen a little bit the whole time when you have your ostomy bag beforehand, but that's where they took my colon out, pretty tiny. And then laparoscopically, where they did everything else during the first surgery, they were really small. So we have an incision there, we have one down here, and then we also have that one here. And when I woke up, those were all super glued, like literally they had super glue on them that just peels off. So really the only bad scar thing will be where, this fellow is. But it's definitely hard as a rock right now. So I'm on all like soft foods, really just liquids the first 2 days. Today was soft foods. But it's hard. And sorry if this is graphic, but I did have my first 3 bowel movements, going through the normal way, and that was different. But we'll see. I mean, I haven't been eating very much, so it's only was what it was, and it wasn't too terrible. But I know that in the future I'm probably going to have to expect certain things, which I can go into detail later if anyone wants to know. So that's what that is. So if anyone is going to be going through these surgeries, just, and this is me telling myself this, just keep your chin up. It's really easy when you're in the moment to feel like you're not going to make it, like this is impossible. And the very first surgery, I had such a hard time. I felt so miserable, and I was really depressed. And when I personally, I can't do anything, I feel useless. But I had to keep my chin up, and, reminders from friends and mothers that, my mother, that this is only temporary. So just keep in mind it's only temporary. keep good people around you. Keep your mind busy, with things or with friends. Give yourself a purpose to do something. And talking about it, even if some people don't like to, I think talking about it really helps. You're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you, for having this. It doesn't mean that you're less than anybody else. Some people really feel that way, and I don't think it makes anybody less. It just makes you unique. I just noticed I have tomato soup. That's going a little crazy. I dribbled, and I think I got it in my hair earlier. Anyways, but if anyone has any questions, comment below or email me. I'm going to be doing updates here and there. If you have anything specific that you want me to talk about, I promise next time I won't be so drowsy on all the medication they have me on. Please, please don't hesitate to ask me any questions. I love talking about this because it's my problem in my life, and I feel like my problem is my purpose, and I need to share, and I want to help, and I want to connect with people. So I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and good luck if you are going to make this decision. And again, don't hesitate to ask me any questions. Have a good night. Bye.